The great hall of the Galactic Council stretched for miles in every direction. Representatives from 847 different species sat in their assigned seats, watching the morning session begin. The air buzzed with dozens of different languages being translated through universal communicators. Ambassador Keither of the Zapirian Empire walked to the speaking platform with confident steps. His purple skin gleamed under the artificial lights and his forearms moved with practiced grace. Behind him followed 3 assistants carrying data tablets and official documents. Elder Morak, the ancient leader of the council, watched from his elevated seat. His wrinkled face showed no emotion, but his 4 black eyes tracked every movement the Zapirian made. The elder had seen many young species make foolish decisions over his 1,000 years of life. Honored council members, Keither began, his voice carrying clearly through the hall sound system. The Zapirian Empire comes before you today to announce a great expansion of our territory. Several representatives shifted in their seats. Territorial announcements were common, but something about the ambassador's tone felt different, more dangerous. We claim the Sol system and all its planets for the glory of our empire, Keither declared. The primitive species living there will be relocated to suitable worlds where they can serve useful purposes. The hall fell completely silent. Dr. Yolandra, the council's chief archivist, dropped her datapad. It clattered loudly on the floor, the sound echoing through the quiet chamber. Her tentacles began changing from their normal blue color to a pale white, a sign of extreme shock in her species. The representative from the Altarian Federation, a tall being with crystal-like skin, began typing rapidly on his console, warning. Lights blinked as he accessed the restricted historical databases. His movements became more frantic with each piece of information he found. Ambassador Keither, Elder Morak said slowly, his ancient voice careful and measured. Perhaps you could clarify which system you are referring to. There are many systems with that designation. Keither smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. The system containing the planet called Earth, of course the one inhabited by the creatures that call themselves humans. Sound like breaking glass? Came from the Vectari representative. The crystalline being's entire body shifted from its normal clear color to deep red. In Vectari culture, this color meant danger so extreme that death was certain. Are you insane? The words came from Ambassador Tekanol of the Hegemony worlds. The large bear-like creature stood up from his seat, his fur standing on end. Do you have any idea what you're suggesting? Keith's smile grew wider. I'm suggesting that we take what belongs to us by right of superior strength. The humans are barely beyond their planet's atmosphere. They have no real military force. They cannot possibly resist the might of our war fleets. Sit down, Teknol, Elder Morak said quietly. The bear-like ambassador reluctantly returned to his seat, but his claws remained extended. Dr. Yolandra raised one of her tentacles. Elder, permission to access historical files for the council's review? Denied, Morak replied immediately. That information is classified for good reason. The Quinter representative, a floating jellyfish like being pulsed with orange light. Ambassador Keither, has your government researched this decision thoroughly? Have you consulted the available records? We have reviewed all necessary military intelligence, Keither replied dismissively. The humans possess no technology that threatens our forces. Their largest ships are barely capable of reaching their own system's edge. They are insects compared to the power of the Zapirian Empire. Military intelligence, whispered the representative from the Sage Collective. He speaks only of military intelligence. Elder Morak stood up slowly, his old joints creaking. The hall fell silent again as all eyes turned to him. Ambassador Keither, I will ask you one final time. Are you absolutely certain your empire wishes to proceed with this action? Absolutely certain, Keither replied without hesitation. The Zapirian Empire has conquered 43 species in the last century. We have war fleets that have never known defeat. One primitive world will not change that record. The elder's expression remained neutral, but those who knew him well could see sadness in his ancient eyes. Very well. The council acknowledges your empire's declaration. We will not interfere in this matter. Will you not support our righteous expansion? Kiefer asked, surprised by the neutral response. The Galactic Council will not support this action, Morek replied firmly. Nor will we oppose it. This matter is now between your empire and the inhabitants of the Sol system. Murmurs began spreading through the hall. Representatives started whispering to each other in dozens of different languages. The universal translator struggled to keep up with the flood of conversations. Furthermore, the elder continued. Any species that wishes to evacuate personnel from Zapirian space may do so immediately. The Council will provide emergency transportation. Cather's confidence wavered slightly. Elder, surely that's an extreme reaction to a simple territorial expansion. The session is adjourned, Morok announced, ignoring the question. He struck his ceremonial gong 3 times, the sound reverberating through the massive hall as representatives began filing out. Conversations grew louder and more urgent. Many were already contacting their home governments, warning them to prepare for what was coming. Dr. Yolandra approached Elder Morok's platform. Elder, should I prepare the memorial archives? The old being looked at her with tired eyes. Yes, begin with the standard template for extinct civilizations. I fear the Zapirian Empire will need them soon. How long do you think they have? She asked quietly. Their fleet is already assembling, Morok replied. Based on their usual mobilization patterns, they'll reach Earth system within 2 standard months. After that, he paused, his expression growing darker. I estimate the Zapirian Empire has perhaps 6 months of existence remaining. Should we warn them? They've been warned. The historical files exist for a reason. Every species in this council knows why certain worlds are left alone. Morek began walking toward his private chambers. The Zephyrians chose to ignore thousands of years of wisdom. Now they'll learn why that wisdom exists. Meanwhile, Kether stood alone on the speaking platform, confusion replacing his earlier confidence. The reaction from the council made no sense. He had expected either support or opposition, not this strange neutral withdrawal. His communication device chimed. A message from his emperor appeared on the screen. Excellent work, Ambassador. Our war fleets are mobilizing as planned. Soon, the Zapirian Empire will control the Sol system and demonstrate our power to the galaxy. Kether smiled again, his confidence returning. The Council's strange behavior didn't matter. The Zapirian military had never failed before. One primitive world would not break their perfect record. As he left the hall, he didn't notice Dr. Yolandra making copies of certain restricted files. Nor did he see the Altarian representative sending urgent warnings to governments across the galaxy. He missed the emergency sessions being called by dozens of species, all discussing the same topic: evacuation procedures and humanitarian aid for Zapirian civilians. The galaxy was preparing for what would come next. But Kiefer walked away, still believing his empire had chosen an easy victory. He would learn the truth soon. Enough. Dr. Yolandra's tentacles moved quickly across the archive console. Her species didn't need sleep, which made her perfect for the job of council archivist. Tonight, she worked alone in the vast underground storage facility beneath the council chambers. The restricted files floated in the air before her, holographic displays showing events from 200 years ago. These records were sealed for good reason. Most council members had never seen them. Some didn't even know they existed. Computer, begin playback of file classification, Ultra 7, Earth integration period, year 1, she commanded. The holographic display changed, showing a blue and green planet spinning slowly in space. Earth looked peaceful from this distance. Beautiful even. It was hard to believe what happened next. Historical note, the computer's voice announced. The following records document first contact between galactic civilization and the species known as humans. Warning, content contains graphic military footage. Yolander had seen these files before, but they still made her change color with worry. She watched as the first alien ship approached, Earth's solar system 2 centuries ago. The hegemony of cows had been powerful then. Their empire controlled 400 worlds and possessed military technology that could destroy planets. They viewed humans as primitive creatures barely capable of spaceflight. Display the hegemony's initial assessment report, Yander requested. Words appeared in the air. Translated from the ancient KTOS language. Species designation human shows. Basic tool use and simple electronics. Military capacity negligible. Recommend standard conquest protocol. Estimated resistance duration 72 hours maximum. The archivist's tentacles curled with dark humor. 72 hours. The hegemony had been so confident. Begin playback of battle footage. Luna orbital stations? The scene changed to show space around Earth's moon. Massive hegemony warships hung in the darkness like metal mountains. Their weapons could crack moons in half. Below them, tiny human ships moved like insects around a giant. The attack began exactly as expected. Hegemony plasma cannons fired, destroying the first wave of human defenders in seconds. More human ships came forward only to be swept away by superior firepower. Display time index. Battle plus 6 hours. The footage jumped forward. Now something was different. The human ships moved strangely, not following normal military patterns. They attacked from unexpected angles, used debris as cover, and seemed to ignore damage that should have disabled them. Display intercepted human communications. Battle plus 12 hours. A crackling voice filled the archive chamber speaking. In the ancient human language called English all stations, this is Admiral Rodriguez. Pattern analysis complete. Their weapons recharge every 47 seconds. Their ships turn slowly to the left. Adjust attack runs accordingly. Yolandra paused the playback. This was the moment that changed everything. The humans had been losing badly, but instead of surrendering, they studied their enemies. In the middle of battle, while their friends died around them, they learned. Continue playback. The next scene showed human tactics changing rapidly. Ships that had been flying straight into enemy fire now moved in complex patterns. They avoided the strongest weapons and targeted weak points that shouldn't have been visible to primitive sensors. Display time index battle plus 18 hours. Now the human ships looked different. They carried strange weapons that weren't there before. Jury-rigged devices built from battlefield salvage. Energy weapons that fired in unusual patterns the hegemony shields couldn't stop. Computer explained the human modifications recorded during this period. Analysis indicates human forces modified their weapon systems 17 times during active combat. New designs were tested, refined, and distributed to other ships within hours. This adaptation rate exceeded all known military databases. The footage continued. By the 24th hour, hegemony forces were retreating from several positions. Their commanders sent confused reports. Human resistance exceeds all projections. Request immediate reinforcements. Display the Hegemony Command Council meeting. Day 3. The scene showed alien beings seated around a large table. They looked like giant beetles with multiple arms. Their voices were translated into standard galactic language. General Thever, report on Earth conquest progress. Sir, we have encountered unexpected resistance. The humans appear to be adapting to our tactics. Adapting? They are primitives with chemical rockets. Yes, sir. However, they have now deployed weapons that our databases cannot identify. Our technical teams believe the humans are modifying captured equipment. Impossible. Their technology level cannot support such modifications. Nevertheless, sir, we have lost 18 capital ships in the last day. The humans seem to learn from each engagement. Yolander fast-forwarded through the next several weeks. The pattern was clear. Every day, human resistance grew stronger. Every battle, they performed better. They used captured hegemony technology in ways its original creators had never imagined. Display final battle footage. Kratos' home system. The scene changed dramatically. Now, human ships filled the space around the hegemony's homeworld. But these weren't the small primitive vessels from the beginning. These ships were larger, more advanced, and covered with weapons that shouldn't exist. Computer analyzed the human fleet composition at this battle. Human forces consist of 40% original human technology, 35% modified hegemony equipment, and 25% unknown design origin. Warning: some weapon systems appear to exceed current galactic technology standards. The archivist watched as human forces systematically dismantled the hegemony's home defense fleet. There was no anger in their movements, no unnecessary destruction. They moved like surgeons, cutting away only what needed to be removed. Display the GI. Hegemony surrender transmission. A voice filled the chamber, broken and defeated. Human forces, this is Hegemony Prime Command. We surrender unconditionally. We request mercy for our civilian populations. The human response came immediately. Hegemony Command. This is Fleet Admiral Chun. Surrender accepted. Civilian populations will not be harmed. Military forces will be disarmed and military production facilities will be dismantled. You have our word that your species will survive this war. And they had kept that promise. The beat-like Kaltos still existed, living peacefully on agricultural worlds under human protection. They were farmers now, not warriors. Some said they were happier than they had ever been. Display summary of subsequent conflicts. Devourers of Second Invasion. Collective Zan War. More footage filled the air. 2 other species had made the same mistake, attacking Earth after seeing the hegemony's defeat. Both had been certain they could succeed where others failed. The Devourers had lasted 8 months. The Collective Zone, with their hive mind coordination, had managed almost a full year. Both met the same fate. Complete military defeat followed by peaceful integration into human-protected space. Computer current status of species that attacked Earth during integration period. All 3 species remain extant. COS 47 agricultural worlds, population stable. Scan, 12 mining colonies, population growing. Zon Collective, 18 research stations specialized in galactic communication networks. All operate under human protection protocols. Yolander studied the final statistics. 3 major galactic powers had tried to conquer primitive Earth. All 3 were defeated so completely that they ceased to exist as military forces. Yet all 3 species survived and even thrived under human guidance. Computer, extract key tactical analyses for distribution to Council members. Warning: this information is classified under Council Resolution 847 Alpha. Distribution requires unanimous Elder approval. Emergency override. Archivist Authorization 77 Alpha. Imminent species extinction event. Override accepted. Preparing data packets for all Council members. As the files compiled, Yolandra thought about the Zapirian Empire. They had conquered 43 species in recent years. They possessed advanced weapons and experienced soldiers. Their confidence was understandable, but confidence wouldn't save them from what was coming. The historical records were clear. Humans didn't just fight wars. They studied them. They adapted to them. They turned every enemy weapon into a tool for their own use. Most terrifyingly, they did all of this while maintaining strict moral codes that prevented them from committing genocide. The Zapirians would discover that losing to humans was worse than dying. They would survive, but they would never be warriors again. Computer, add personal note to all data packets. The humans do not fight to destroy. They fight to teach. The lesson they teach is that war has consequences. Some consequences last forever. The data packets shot out across the galaxy, carrying warnings to every civilized species. But Yolandra knew it was probably too late. The Zapirian fleets were already moving toward Earth. Soon, the galaxy would witness another demonstration of why humans were left alone. Admiral Sarah June stood in the center of the Solar Defense Council's command room, reading from a holographic display that floated before her. The message from the Zapirian Empire glowed with official seals and threatening language. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said to the assembled military leaders, "we have received an ultimatum from the Zapirian Empire. They demand our immediate surrender and relocation from all human colonies. We have 72 hours to respond. General Marcus Webb, his face scarred from the Titan mining conflicts 20 years ago, actually started laughing. The sound echoed through the quiet room, causing several officers to turn and stare at him. "Something amusing about this situation," General Admiral Chun asked. Webb wiped tears from his eyes. "Sorry, Admiral. It's just another species that doesn't know their history." "Ma'am, permission to respond to this threat?" Chun nodded slowly. "Granted, keep it simple." Webb activated the communication system. "This is General Marcus Webb of the Solar Defense Force responding to the Zapirian Empire ultimatum received today." Message received. Response is no. Earth Defense Force is mobilizing. Any Zapirian vessel entering Sol system will be treated as hostile. We strongly recommend you reconsider. End transmission. The message shot out across space towards Zapirian territory. Admiral Chun turned to her staff. "Gentlemen, ladies, you know what comes next? Activate Protocol 7. Captain Rodriguez raised her hand. "Admiral, are we sure we want to go straight to 7? That's usually reserved for extinction-level threats." "Captain, they threatened to relocate our entire species. In my book, that qualifies." Chun walked to the main display, showing the solar system. "Besides, we've been peaceful for 200 years. Clearly, someone needs a reminder of why that was a choice, not a necessity." Across human space, ancient systems began to wake up. On Luna Base, massive rail guns that had been silent for decades started their power-up sequences. The lunar surface shook as targeting computers calculated firing solutions for objects moving at significant fractions of light speed. Colonel Martinez, commander of Luna Base, watched readouts scroll across his screens. "All rail gun batteries report ready status. Ammunition fabrication at maximum output. Sir, we'll have enough kinetic rounds to level a continent within 6 hours." In the asteroid belt, mining ships received new orders. Captain Singh read the message twice before believing it. "Attention all mining vessels. Military Retrofit Protocol 7 is now active. Report to designated stations for weapon installation and tactical briefing." The miners knew these protocols existed, but nobody had expected to use them. Within hours, ships designed to crack asteroids were bay.